you doing? It's it's another day, another dollar, and another. Well, I don't know what else. It's a lot of interesting things obviously happening in the world. It's coming very fast and very furious. And then yesterday, James O'Keefe gets on the phone after I left here yesterday. I'm getting into my truck to take off, and something about CNN, and it pops up on my notifications. So I put on my phone to the notification from Project Veritas, and apparently for the last I don't know how long, for 90 days, maybe longer than that, Project Veritas has been sitting in on CNN's morning calls, and so they've scoured through, and they have recordings of their meetings, kind of listen to their strategy sections and so on and so forth. And I am just cracking up. So we're going to look a little bit at that, and then we'll get into some headlines of the day and keep things going. Did I tweet out the tweet? Yes, I did. Okay, I had to make sure. Thank you, Cindy Rochelle, for also doing that. But, we'll get into that and more after the intro. Play the intro, Johnny. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight channel. It's Wednesday, the 2nd of December, 2020. What I call, 29 days until it's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. What was that song? Who was that? Who sang? Was that Loverboy? Anyone remember Loverboy? This is the band Loverboy, Working for the Weekend, and that was their biggest hit. But they also had a couple other hits at the back in the day, and they were a pretty hot band back in the early 80s. Anyway, I am. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm running late today, okay? So I literally get out of work at 8:30 my time, which is just a half hour ago, and I'm scrambling home, and I'm scrambling to get all my stuff set up, and I am just I knew this. Okay, I just saw something in the chat that is very important to me. Anyway, because I had all these I have all these Project Veritas videos set up, and but I don't have, I have my articles ready, but I'm not organized. And so just bear with me today. Let's do this. I'm going to say Lover Soy. Come on, man. When It's Over. Yeah, When It's Over, Loverboy. Right, that's a great song. Somewhat Lover Soy. Get out of here. Come on, man. Loverboy was hot back in the day. You know, Mike Reno and that stupid headband he always wore. I mean, come on. How could you not like Loverboy? Anyway, let's say good morning to everybody, because I'll get myself back on track, and we'll figure this out now that I got some of the things set up that I needed to set up. Oh, let me check something here. Is that up all the way? Uh-oh, what the hell? There we go. Fix. What the hell's going on here? Hang on a second. It goes down, but it's not. Oh, no, what the hell? Let's see if I can do it. There we go. All right. Anyway, let's say good morning to everybody who's in the chat. I know it's like I'm having a weird dead air moment. Anyway, good morning first. And first in the chat, too, our good friend Gunfox61, who gets the bell, and he's updated the Discord link up at the top of the chat, and I've updated it in the CloudBot. So when you see the Discord link, if you're not a part of the Discord, that link will pop up in the chat every once in a while. I did update that. Thank you Don't forget to reset the donor of the day. And yes, I did both. Thank you. I'm getting better at this. I will figure this out. It's only 483 episodes in, you know? Okay, some of these toys I've only had for about 6 months. But even then, I probably should figure it out. Also, good morning to Hig 1966. Nice to have you back. Also, Big Assassin 80, TC Ball, Donatello Slapafellow, Stabbin' Joe Scarborough, who has got some new knives from Knives for America, I believe. Anyway, and also good morning to... let's see. Tyler F. Good morning. Select a boy.
Yeah, boy.
Special K on acid. Purple pill perspective, which I said weird because I started to say something else, but it's purple pill perspective. Who says good morning, P-Dawg and chat people. Good morning, Cindy Rochelle. Be right back. Cindy Rochelle's in the middle doing some laundry. Okay, cool. That's a good thing. It's always good to do your laundry. Good morning also to Richo, my friend from down under. John Arnott, welcome back. Also, Thomas Cleaver here early today. Nice to see you. Good morning, Chadwick Dupree. Under the handle, damn it, Chadwick. I hope you don't mind I always say Chadwick Dupree. I just get in the habit of saying Chadwick Dupree. Also, good morning, Annal In. Advocatus Diabli, who's celebrating a birthday today, which is awesome. Where's the party horn? There we go. Also, good morning to Cynical Lindsay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Jonas Patterson is in the house. Nice to see you. Kyra Alexander here early. Rittenhouse unit is here. Lord Stanhope. And I think that's, I think I got everybody who's already been in the chat, and I'll catch on to people as we go along. So anyway, let's talk a little bit right off the bat about Project Veritas. We're going to watch a few videos this morning because I haven't even seen them all, and I don't know if they care if I do this, but I doubt it. I'm sure they don't mind the pub. And I need to figure out. I mean, YouTube window though. Hang on a second here. Let's make sure I use. Let's see. Let's go. Project Veritas YouTube live pop out. Nope, I don't have to pop out. Let's go here and. Let's see. It should be. Where the hell is it? Live streaming YouTube studio YouTube studio. Let's try this one. Nope, that's not it. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. So and it fits. All right, hold on. Oh, whoa, a little early. So this is funny. So when I got in my truck yesterday, I popped up the good old Project Veritas site because it said they were starting a video. And let's see. Let me see if I can. This is not the one I want you to see, though. Let me get the one. Oh, okay. So we're gonna just do these. We're gonna do these in order, okay? Because you may or may not have seen them, and I just think it's hilarious. So here is James O'Keefe as I was getting into my truck. Very funny, very funny. Here we go. Make sure you can hear it. Yep, it's all there. Good.
Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey, yes. This is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because
so this is in the middle of their morning news, whatever the CNN's conference call they do on the daily. He's on the call. The gonads of this dude. Anyway.
Say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system, and we'll be back with you. We'll do the rest of the call a little bit later.
We're going to release those recordings today at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
So you just heard me talk to
so anyway,
CNN Jeff Zucker and inform him that that we are going to release a number of recordings today.
All right, so that's I don't need to show you this whole one because the rest of it's all fluff. He's just telling you that he's going to start releasing some of the recordings later in the day, and they said for about 2 months they've been in on their call, just recording things, kind of showing how the sausage is made. Good morning, Mr. No. There's a doctor. Wait, oh, did I say that right? Hang on. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. No. Hi, hello to you too. So anyway, so Project Veritas has been in on the CNN calls, their conference calls. And it's fascinating, some of the things they pulled from them. Now, I don't think there's any really huge revelations in the first 4 that they have, that they've put out. Now, he also did this
Going
here.
through all these like hundreds of hours of Jeff Zucker's phone calls at CNN here.
Good morning, everybody.
Just so much tape. So much tape.
Morning.
Now, what's interesting is
obviously
CNN is already threatening to sue James O'Keefe. I don't know how that works. Now, here's the thing. They had a whistleblower at CNN who's provided some morning calls to them before, and they've played. But this time, it seems like they've been on the calls listening and recording. Good morning, Azul Azroth. How you doing? And I see a lot of people talking about Gina Haspel. She MIA. I don't know. But anyway, let's listen to this. This is only a minute long.
An incredible story on our hands.
We sure do. And we're going through all this tape and we're putting it in the timeline. We're listening to Zucker talking to his staff, assigning projects, talking about politics. Lot to go through. What's the hashtag, Eric?
CNN tapes.
CNN tapes.
So they have a hashtag on
CNN
Twitter,
tapes.
CNN tapes.
ExposeCNN.com.
ExposeCNN.com, where our staff is hard at work, going through all these phone calls.
All right, so that's the setup, okay? And I'm not going to necessarily go through the rest of that. So they put their first 3, was it 3 they put out yesterday? They put their first 3 revelations out yesterday. So we'll watch those, and hopefully they won't get. I don't know how picky Project Veritas is about putting their stuff out there as far as copywriting and whatnot. But we'll have all 3 of these bookmarked on the
CNN says on Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial.
So here's the first one. Here's the first one. We'll get it on here. And here we go.
Says on Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial conference call how they, the Democratic Party, powerful interest groups, may determine how CNN will cover Trump not conceding the presidential election.
I just want to underscore something that Michael said earlier about the transition and Trump, because I've been talking to a lot of people this morning on both sides.
Hello, Katie. Hello, Jason Arnold.
I keep hearing the same thing, both from Republicans who have not come out to congratulate Biden, but also to those who have in the Democrats. And that is that we have to be, news organizations have to be very careful and very responsible about not giving Trump too much of a platform on his not conceding, because they feel the transition can go forward. And, other than the national security briefings, which are critical to start now, they just don't want us to exaggerate that Trump isn't leaving office. And I'm going to have a lot of specific reporting on that later today, but just big picture wanted to underscore what Michael had said.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. About not wanting to give Trump too much of a platform. And I always thought that news organizations were just there to tell you what's happening, the who, what, why, where, and how, and not worry about if they're giving someone a platform, if the president done something, it's news, right? It's news. If the Democrats do something, it's news. If anyone, but they obviously have a kind of an agenda whether or not they want. Well, here, let's listen to Zucker here just a second.
Yep, agreed.
On the issue of why it's important to get the transition going right.
Okay, this is they're talking about how they want this strategy.
Report talks about one of the problems was that the trouble that was brewing got lost during the transition. So if you want a good concrete example of what happens when you don't have a good transition, go look at the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Now, that is fascinating because, as you know, after 9/11, okay, first of all, what's fascinating about that is, are they blaming 9/11 on the Clinton administration for not having a good transition? I don't know. Of course, that was after after Gore and Bush Gore in the White House, and I just think maybe that just underscores anyway. When I would finish my thought on the other part of that. After 9/11, they did put in provisions on how the new administration would get national security briefings, and nothing has changed about that. In fact, I think it is automatically set when there is an official president-elect, which is when? December 14th. And in fact, plus the fact that Kamala Harris already gets national security briefings in her Senate committee. They've already done the work they've already put the money, approved the money for the transition activities. So the candidates also get national security briefings, even partially during the campaign, if they have the right clearances or whatever. So this is just one of those things. They want to make an angle to say, oh, well, if something happens early in Joe Biden's presidency that's not good, this is how we're going to blame it on Trump. Anyway.
So I think that's an important point. I think it was discussed a little bit yesterday.
So let's raise that important point again.
I think it's really important to raise again. I would encourage folks to think about, that 9/11 Commission report and the lack of transition.
Okay, so that's the first one, which is fascinating. I don't know. Let's go to the second one, which I haven't seen the other three, so I'm gonna see these for the first time along with you. This one apparently it's called Zucker Blast Trump. Let me get it started from the beginning. And just give me a second here. All right, here's the second one. This one's about 3 minutes long, so we'll probably stop if I hear anything that Oh, they did steal all the W's from the keyboards in the White House when Clinton left. Yes, they did. They were very childish in the Clinton White House. There might be crazy on the election stuff. Oh, I know there is definitely.
Jeff Zucker, president of CNN, explains to his editorial team on the 9 a.m. call that we recorded that they should, quote, lean in to not normalizing Trump's erratic behavior. Listen to this.
Okay, I just want to reemphasize that, I think we cannot normalize what has happened here in the last week with Trump and his behavior. And I go back to what David said.
Now, normalizes behavior. How about you just report what's happening? It's not normalizing. You just report what's happening. No, they have to have an angle. We can't normalize it.
Italian said that this is a president who knows he's losing, who knows he's in trouble, is sick, maybe is on the after effects of steroids or not, I don't know, but he is acting erratically and desperately.
So they want to have this is their theme.
We need to not normalize that. This is what we've come to expect for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, but it clearly is exacerbated by the time that we're in and the issues that he's dealing with. And I think that we cannot just let it be normalized. He is all over the place and acting erratically.
Is that now? I'm just confused. Now, and I don't know when. Okay, so this was October 9th. So this was before the election. He was out having rallies. This was before the election. Wait, what did he say here earlier? Hang on a second. Can't know what has happened here in the last week. Oh, I think that's is that right after he got COVID and then he recovered? I don't know what he means by he's acting erratically. Because he thinks he knows he's losing. Okay, that was during. He was having rallies after he had COVID, or okay. Oh no, okay, October 9th. I think that's when he got COVID. Anyway, let's go back to where. All right, here we go. They want to say he's all over the place, acting erratically, and I think we need to lean into that. That's what he says here.
Let it be normalized. He is all over the place and acting erratically, and I think we need to lean into that.
Lean into that, huh?
The Trump media, moves immediately from, okay, well, never mind that unmasking was, found to be completely nonsensical, to the latest
that's like October 16th?
And expects everybody to just follow suit. So I don't think that we should be repeating unsubstantiated smears just because the right-wing media suggests that we should.
Unsubstantiated smears. The unmasking? I thought that was a fact. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Frankly,
this
if
is
we made any mistake.
And okay, this is from November 17th, 2020. This is after the election. Frankly, if we've made any mistakes,
it's that our banners have been too polite, and we need to go well after Lindsey Graham.
So now this is when they want to go attack Lindsey Graham after the election because he hasn't congratulated their supposed their projected president-elect. Really, we need to go well after Lindsey Graham. Huh. Is that something that a news organization should be doing? Should they be, quote, going after Lindsey Graham? I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me. Does it, though? I don't know.
There's a ton going on. Let's stay strong. Let's stay newsy. Let's stay urgent.
Oh.
Let's be smart. There is a lot of news out there, and Lindsey Graham really deserves it.
Interesting.
Each of these.
Okay, now this is from September 8th. So they want to go after Lindsey Graham. Fascinating. Huh. They want to attack Lindsey Graham. Okay, now back to September 8th.
So-called handles for Trump, each of these things, we should just once again be careful to say that this is the one that is going to undo him with his voters.
Oh, you mean like the walls are closing in? Now, I don't know who David Shalane's who David Shalane is, so I guess we'll have to look that up. Good morning, Echo Bad Touch, Joe Biden. I know that's you.
To respond to David Chalian's points about politics. I don't know why we would expect any of these politicians to have a conscience and or expect that politics wouldn't be completely hypocritical. And for us to expect anything else would be naive.
Huh. Well, I may or may not agree with him on that last one. And then finally, we got one more that I haven't seen yet. And I believe, as I'm looking at the hashtag on Twitter, he has the wrong person identified here, but we'll get to that in a second. Here's the last one.
On the 9 a.m. conference calls every morning at CNN, their top leadership views their competition, Fox News and Tucker Carlson in particular, as racist and misinformed. Roll the tape.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're going to talk about the story, I think it's unavoidable that you have to talk about the naked racism of Tucker Carlson.
Now, it's fascinating.
Because that's really what drove this anti-diversity push. You know, Trump watches Tucker Carlson show and then reacts.
Anti-diversity push. Oh, he's talking about the critical race theory that Donald Trump was talking about removing from government training. And so now they're blaming that on Tucker Carlson.
And just as sort of the white supremacy hour they have on Fox News every night, I think it's...
Now, I don't watch Fox News, but I do see a lot of Tucker scenes on the internet. And it's amazing that this is how they talk about their competition.
You can't disconnect the two.
What Donald Trump did last night, for anybody who watches Fox News, he was just airing all of the grievances he hears on Fox News every night, and that's all he did.
Okay, well, yeah, he has a tendency to do that. So anyway, fascinating. I'm pretty positive that there is much more to come as far as these taped videos, and hopefully, here's what I kind of hope. Okay, I hope they find something a little more juicy. I mean, granted, we know that that's the kind of opinions they have at CNN. If you and their anchors all seem to toe that same line. So, and it comes from the top. It definitely comes from Zucker. But you know, it's not like the crew at CNN doesn't also kind of already go along with that. I'm just waiting to hear some things that are a little actually more juicy, I guess. Things that just, I mean, obviously it shows the bias at CNN. Everybody knows that, though. They made their they cut their teeth over the last 4 years and actually came back from the dead because Donald Trump was just the greatest thing to happen to CNN since the Gulf War. You know, I mean, people are watching them to bitch about Trump, and even though they were still in third place, although now Fox's ratings are in the shitter. So both CNN and MSNBC have gained from that. But anyway, so over at the hashtag, over here at the hashtag, which is CNN tapes. Let's see here. Let me come on. Let's get on here a second. Let me fix this. All right, over the hashtag here, CNN tapes. So obviously, James O'Keefe updated CNN PR informed Project Veritas last night that the exec on this recording was actually General Counsel David Vigilante. Vigilante called Tucker Carlson a racist and claimed Fox News holds a white supremacy hour that Donald Trump watches and reacts to. But apparently, CNN legal experts say this may be a felony. We've referred it to law enforcement. Is this the same CNN that had secret? Well, look, there's a couple answers to that. Fake news upset that someone did real journalism on them. James Earl Jones should sue. Now, some people are poo-pooing this. I just listened to 3 of these CNN tapes, and all I hear is journalists discussing how best to cover a racist horse driving a car. Huh. Really? Is that what it is? Let's see. Fascinating, because CNN just recently did some reporting on what was it they had tapes of? Oh, remember the tapes of Melania Trump? They're saying that this may be a felony and referred it to law enforcement? How so? How so? So anyway, we'll keep up with those as they become more as they drop more videos. Who knows what's going to happen there? It'll be interesting. I think one thing that I can see happening is CNN attempting to have a lawsuit against James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. Now, the reason they may not is, as a news organization that does similar things, I think they might have trouble justifying going after another news organization that did it to them. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right, real quick, let me do a couple thank yous. Thank you to I gotta talk about this thread. Thank you, Tyler F. and Scribe Light, for tweeting out the show. Also, Cindy Rochelle for doing that. Greatly appreciated. Also, while you're thinking about it, if you like what we do on the Morning Night Live, hit that thumbs up thing down here right now. Just get it out of the way. Get it done. And then you don't have to think about it later. Now, I will remind you often and so forth and so on. But I just, get it out of the way. Hit the like button. It'll make you feel better. It'll make me feel better. It'll make everybody feel better if there's lots of likes, except for Dog, who it's the dislike one, which that's something between me and him. There should always be one dislike, but everything else should be liked. So hit those like buttons. Also, if you'd like to participate in the chat, get in the chat. It's right there. Get in the chat. And then also, if you share the stream through the arrow below or through the Twitter Minds Gabber Parlor, and then also donations you can do through YouTube Super Chats and or Streamlabs, which is in the link in the description down below. All right. In fact, I'm going to throw my commercial on because I got to get something organized here. So I'll be back in 1 minute. See ya. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it if you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, and I'm back. So yesterday, a weird thing happened. During all this hubbub, and a lot of you have been watching the various hearings and the various, testimony about the election, right? But something happened, something really weird happened. And it has to do with Attorney General Bill Barr. Why is my computer deciding to tell me to go to hell? Bill Barr, in some interview, said something about there being no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and the Trump legal team has responded to that. President Trump's legal team took another hit on Tuesday when Attorney General William Barr said that the Department of Justice has seen no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Now, when I first heard that phrase, because I was kind of confused, I don't know how involved the Justice Department has been in this battle. I always thought it was the Trump's campaign lawyers, and then Sidney Powell and some other GOP figures have been doing most of the investigations along this. And I was confused by this. Interesting, Select Boy, the traitorous AG. I don't know if that's it. Because remember, one other action Attorney General Barr took yesterday was he appointed John Durham as a special counsel to continue the probe of the Russia probe. And I think one of the reasons he did that is that John Durham's investigation has been greatly hampered by all this COVID nonsense, at least according to the Department of Justice. And by appointing him as a special counsel, at least that's what it's very difficult for him to be removed from that investigation now that he's actually listed as a special counsel. But anyway, speaking with the Associated Press, Barr said that U.S. attorneys and FBI agents have been following any lead pertaining to voter fraud only to come up empty-handed. To date, we have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election, he said. Regarding the claims that voting machines somehow shifted the election in favor of Biden, Barr said no evidence exists indicating that. There's been one assertion that would be systemic fraud, and that would be the claim that machines were programmed essentially to skew the election results. And the DHS and DOJ have looked into that, and so far we haven't seen anything to substantiate that, he said. Barr differentiated the DOJ investigation into voter fraud from the lawsuits brought by Trump's legal teams in several key states, however, noting the DOJ's findings do not have bearing on civil procedures. Again, these are civil procedures, right? These are not, it's a different, one, there's a different standard, and there's also, I don't know. I don't know why I am trying. Am I trying to give Barr the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. I have no idea. Where is John Durham? Where are the indictments of all these people who've been, lying, cheating? Where's the indictment of Clapper and Comey and Page and Strzok and all these people who lied to Congress? Brennan, Clapper, who all lied under oath to Congress. I don't know, man. I don't know. Or even she who shall not be named. Her. How about the indictment of her? That never happened. I used to think Barr was a white hat, but I'm beginning to wonder. And everyone is. I know all of you are. So anyway, he continues, there is a growing tendency to use the criminal justice system as a sort of a default fix-all, and people don't like something, they want the Department of Justice to come in, and people don't like something, they want the Department of Justice to come in and investigate, he said. Most claims of fraud are very particularized to a particular set of circumstances or actors or conduct. They are not systemic allegations, and those have been run down. They are being run down. Now, notice he didn't say they were being run down. He said they are being run down. So perhaps they are still investigating. You got to parse his words very carefully. No one is doing shit about shit. It seems like all of this is just a soap opera. It kind of does, Donatello Slap a Fellow. I agree. Okay. I'm gonna open that tab that you just put out there, Lindsay. So that's I'm parsing his words a little bit. They are being run down. Some have been broad and potentially cover a few thousand votes. They have been followed up on. Followed up on. Okay. In response to Barr's comments, the Trump legal team issued a statement arguing that the Department of Justice never launched a proper criminal investigation into allegations of voter fraud. That's where I'm at. I don't recall them launching any investigation. So maybe that's why he can say that. So they continued, with all due respect to the Attorney General, there hasn't been any semblance of a Department of Justice investigation, the statement said. We have gathered ample evidence of illegal voting in at least 6 states, which they have not examined. We have many witnesses swearing under oath they saw crimes being committed in connection with voter fraud. As far as we know, not a single one has been interviewed by the DOJ. The Justice Department also hasn't audited any voting machines or used their subpoena powers to determine the truth. The Trump legal team further pledged to pursue the truth through the judicial system and state legislatures. Quote, nonetheless, we will continue our pursuit of the truth through the judicial system and state legislatures and continue towards the Constitution's mandate and ensuring that every legal vote is counted and every illegal vote is not. Continue the statement. Again, with the greatest respect to the Attorney General, his opinion appears to be without any knowledge or investigation of the substantial irregularities and evidence of systemic fraud. So they have lawsuits still going in Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Although the Pennsylvania lawsuits have been, excuse me, I should rephrase that. The Trump team doesn't have a lawsuit going in Pennsylvania. There are a couple other lawsuits in Pennsylvania that are still in the hopper, so to speak, but they're probably going to have to go to the Supreme Court. My concern here, one is time. Obviously, time is a big problem. But I also wonder how because I remember I have the black pill that I've taken a small nibble off of already, and I'm wondering how the Supreme Court is going to dismiss all of this, and because I just have that gut feeling that they're going to use some kind of 10th Amendment basis for this, saying that if you should be doing this in states. Now, granted, there are, we'll get into a couple of the other lawsuits that may have a federal jurisdiction to it, but we'll have to figure that out. Anyway, let me take a quick look at what Lindsay sent here. Okay, so now here's now what did I just say? Remember what I said? He didn't say they were looking. He said we are looking. Well, thank you, Lindsay, for this little ditty here. Kevin Corke, new Department of Justice spokesperson. Some media outlets have incorrectly reported that the department has concluded its investigation of election fraud and announced an affirmative finding of no fraud in the election. This is not what the AP reported, nor what the Attorney General states. The department will continue to receive and vigorously pursue all specific and credible allegations of fraud as expeditiously as possible. So no, they haven't concluded this investigation, even though if you listen to Blue Checkmark Twitter, they are just, now the AG says there's no fraud. Well, and first of all, the AG didn't even say there was no fraud. His statement was that we haven't found widespread fraud, because a lot of them keep saying, well, we haven't found widespread fraud. Oh, but so you have found fraud. Well, yeah, but not widespread fraud. Well, how much fraud do you need to be to affect the election? Well, you don't need that much. It doesn't have to be widespread. It can be targeted fraud. Well, it seems like they targeted from very specific places to, well, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, he said to date. Yeah, he did say to date. So you know what? I don't know if that's the avenue that's going to win anything, or if it wins anything at all. But it at least tells me it's not over yet. But I tell you what, that licorice flavor in my mouth, I'm thinking it might be from the black pill. I don't know. Anyway, meanwhile, oh, good gosh. Someone asked about Gina Haspel. Well, my friend JJ wrote about Gina Haspel this morning, and this is just the opening of my news aggregator. Good morning, kids, midweek, and the beat goes on. And this nightmare from the unconfirmed wild stories involving CIA Director Gina Haspel and a supposed raid in Germany where Dominion Smartmatic computers and servers were seized, to the direct testimony of witnesses claiming hundreds of thousands of phony ballots were driven across state lines to Pennsylvania, and to the other mass ballot dump sites, confirming and corroborating evidence to the greatest crime in American history, the theft of a national presidential election is mounting. On a somewhat related note, Legal Eagle and constitutional maven extraordinaire Mark Levin makes a salient point regarding evidence that since this is a civil case and not a criminal proceeding so far, much of the hard evidence that people like Tucker Carlson and others were slamming Sidney Powell about comes out in a discovery process over time. Again, correct my phraseology if, as I suspect, I'm mangling this point. Aside from the huge question mark we spoke of yesterday, those who will ultimately adjudicate this actually living up to their sworn duty to strike down this travesty and restore President Trump's victory to him and the American people. This brings up the time factor. I just said that, the time factor. It's running out and fast. Team Trump has until December 8th to finish its legal challenges while the Electoral College convenes to cast its vote on December 14th. I will assume there are no Dominion voting machines or mail-in ballots being tucked in across state lines. And I'm not being sarcastic. Somebody somewhere has got to pull the emergency brake and stop the crazy train from hurtling off the cliff. Now, let me move somewhere else here on this topic. Let's see. Did I open this? All right, I got that. So here's an article. I've been enjoying the American Thinker lately because I've been getting good stuff out of here. Let me post this over. There we go. Evidence supports Sidney Powell's claim about global election fraud. For the past 2 weeks, Sidney Powell was telling everyone that she could prove that our elections was decided abroad by bad actors. Tuesday's news seemed to confirm those claims. A retired military analyst testified in Arizona that the U.S. has captured information that was sent overseas. Also, a November 25th declaration from an active duty military analyst was made public today, which says that within 5 days of the election, the analyst was able to connect DominionVotingSystems.com, which is Dominion's proprietary URL, to Belgrade, Iran, China, and Barack Obama. I've been enjoying a delightful email conversation with Nick Chase, who's written some deservedly lauded articles helping readers to understand how the voting machines could be used to send victory to Joe Biden. There are several articles. I'm not going to link them right now. One of the things Nick explained to me was how information travels across the internet. I'm going to share his words with you because you'll need them to understand how important the next bit of news is. And here's Nick's words. On the internet, information is delivered in packets of bytes, each of which has header information identifying the sender and the intended recipient. When the recipient receives the packet, it verifies the packet and returns the sender a message saying the packet was received correctly. This traffic passes through routers, which are similar to the wireless router you might have at home, only on an industrial scale. The network routers also have switching software to determine which is the most efficient, fastest route on the internet to transmit the packets, as the internet is a redundant system designed with many routers, paths, and switches, so it will continue to operate in case part of it goes down. Now, it's entirely possible for a sophisticated, powerful agency to grab or reroute this packet traffic so that the data can be manipulated. With that in mind, you'll appreciate the import of testimony of Colonel Phil Waldron, retired, gave during the hearing in Arizona about voting machines used in the U.S. elections. As you recall, while the votes were collected in America, they were sent to Frankfurt, Germany, for final tallying and processing before being rerouted to America. According to Colonel Waldron, his white hat hackers recognized the packets going to Germany and obtained copies of them. Here's the testimony right here.
What we're talking about, it was Mr. Krebs. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. He stated the most secure election in history. He stated we're not connected to the internet. He stated no votes leave this country. This is all things he's stated publicly.
So it's just a website, correct?
Right. So are you willing to say under oath that you have seen the connection to the internet? You have seen it go offshore to Germany, Frankfurt. Are these things that you have personally seen and can say that is not true?
Our white hat hackers, yes, they have that traffic in the packets.
So why would he make that kind of comment, do you think?
Either not knowing, believing the myth, or not wanting the truth to be known.
Thank you.
All right, so that's interesting. We shouldn't be surprised that Colonel Waldron would offer such extraordinary evidence. Last week in Pennsylvania, Colonel Waldron gave a master class in how Dominion voting systems are set up to enable election fraud on a massive scale. He talked about fraudulent elections in other countries, voting machines being connected to the internet, making them hackable, stolen USB drives used for hacking voting machines, and inexplicable anomalies that showed us that votes were preloaded for Biden before the election began. Today, Colonel Waldron's testimony gained added heft when we got to see a declaration from an intelligence analyst and at the 305th Military Intelligence Unit, also which they're calling the Kraken Unit. The declarations had specific evidence showing that on November 8, 2020, DominionVotingSystems.com, which is Dominion's voting system proprietary URL, was connected over the internet to Belgrade, Iran, and China, and to the indivisible, formerly Acorn, political group for Obama. In the spirit of complete honesty, the declaration is almost completely unintelligible to me. And all I know is that I find it disturbing that DominionVotingSystems.com is connected to two of our geopolitical foes and to Obama's political interest group. And did I mention that what looks like if the Chinese government has an ownership interest in Dominion, you can check out Gateway Pundit again. Jim's a little hyperbolic, and I always take things Jim does with a grain of salt. I do like Jim, though. You can check out Gateway Pundit for details that seem legitimate. You're not imagining that China keeps popping up all over 2020, first by giving us the gift of our special visitor, and that Democrats used to try to destroy the economy, to pervert the election, and now as an active player in America's vote counting. Anyway, so that's part of the testimony going on in Arizona. 9/12 would have been when you could fight, not just get stomped on. That was 20 years ago. Oh, wait, this all feels like a distraction to keep people off focus, an increasing cliffhanger. It is supposed to be cathartic to watch others fight for your liberty. I suppose it is, but it feels weird. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move on. By the way, did you know that whistleblowers dispute over... This is whistleblowers... dispute over 1 million ballots, cite Dominion tampering. Is this the one I wanted to see? I can't remember how long this is. Hang on a second. I don't want that. Oh, no. That was the... All right, I'm just gonna link. I'll just have this as a link. There is... Here, let's do this. We'll do a little bit of the article, but I'm not gonna play the video because it's over an hour and a half long. So the Amistad Project has gathered whistleblowers and sworn declarations revealing over 1 million potentially fraudulent swing state ballots, including completed ballots getting shipped across state lines, Postal Service workers being told to prioritize Biden mail, and official tampering with Dominion systems to prevent an audit. So these are some of the allegations that the witnesses have been giving. And it's been a doozy. Now, you know what's amazing to me too, as we watch that little CNN thing that Project Veritas is doing, is any of this newsworthy? I mean, if you're a news organization and there are people testifying to this stuff, would you think it was newsworthy? Because it seems like they have no interest in covering this. So the Amistad Project has gathered whistleblowers and sworn declarations revealing over 1 million potentially fraudulent swing state ballots, including, okay, I already said this. In total, over 300,000 ballots are in issue in Arizona, 548,000 in Michigan, 204,000 in Georgia, and over 121,000 in Pennsylvania. The declarations state that unlawful actions by state and local election officials in swing states and possibly U.S. Postal Service officials, the Amistad Project noted. The evidence details the failure of election officials in blue jurisdictions to maintain ballot chain of custody, including include photographs of individuals improperly accessing voting machines and a detailed eyewitness account of the breaking of sealed boxes of ballot jump drives and commingling of those jump drives with others. In addition to voting machine tampering, the Amistad Project findings reveal efforts by Postal Service officials in at least 3 of 6 swing states. Details include potentially hundreds of thousands of completed absentee ballots being transported across 3 state lines and a trailer filled with ballots disappearing in Pennsylvania, one group notes. The Amistad Project feels that one whistleblower, U.S. Postal Service truck driver Jess Morgan, had fraudulent ballots were mistakenly placed in his Pennsylvania-bound truck. On October 21st, he arrived at Bethpage, where he saw 24 gaylords, which are large cardboard containers used by the Postal Service, and was told they contained mail-in ballots. He saw 24 gaylords containing bulk mail bins filled with identically sized ballot envelopes stacked crosswise, which likely contained 144,000 to 288,000 ballots or more. He could see contained handwritten return addresses, and one was even marked certified mail, prompting the expediter to remark that the person must have really wanted the ballot to get to its destination. Both of these observations revealed the ballots had already been completed and were being returned to be counted. Mr. Morgan got to Harrisburg at 9:15 a.m., ballots in tow, but was forced to sit in the Postal Service yard until 3 p.m. When he went inside to speak with someone because his hours were about to expire, a self-identified transportation supervisor made himself known and instructed Jesse to drive the whole load to Lancaster without unloading the portion intended for Harrisburg. The transportation supervisor would not provide him with a written slip, saying he would need to unload in Harrisburg in order to receive a slip. Morgan drove to Lancaster under orders from the Harrisburg postal supervisor, unhooked the trailer in the normal place, parked his tractor in the normal place, and went home. The next day, his trailer, the only trailer he ever used on his Bethpage route, was gone. And then it just tells you other whistleblowers include Nathan Pease, who was told twice by 2 separate postal workers at the Postal Service in Wisconsin, was backdating over 100,000 ballots to ensure they would be counted even if they arrived after the statutory deadline, and computer expert Gregory Stenson, who witnessed a vendor of Dominion machines and local election official tamper with machines by commingling jump drives. Stenson alleges these actions rendered an audit impossible without direct forensic access to the machines. And then they got a couple other examples of postal workers who have testified. Let's see what else here. If it wasn't for weed, I'd be an alcoholic. Oh, okay. There you go. Let's see. Now this is the editorial. I'm not going to do that one. Rudy Giuliani is going to be appearing before Michigan House Committee for 2020 election presentation. His attendance was previously blocked. This is an interesting update. Let me scroll up here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Good God, what is going on with this? There we go. Rudy Giuliani is going to appear before Michigan House Committee for the 2020 election presentation. President Donald Trump's attorney, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, will now appear for a Michigan House Committee after his attendance was previously blocked. The hearing will take place in room 519 in the House Office Building in Lansing, Pennsylvania. Breitbart News reported on Sunday that committee chairman, State Rep Matt Hall, had invited Giuliani to appear before his committee, as the former mayor has done in Pennsylvania and Arizona. Did I say Pennsylvania? I meant Michigan. Thank you. Hall told the Detroit News that Giuliani his appearance was not possible logistically. A source with direct knowledge of the situation told Breitbart News that Michigan House leaders would not sign off on a Giuliani appearance. Michigan Senate Oversight Committee held a hearing on Tuesday regarding absentee ballot counting in Detroit after the presidential election. A steady stream of witnesses, many of whom filed sworn affidavits, detailed stories about what they observed at the ballot counting operation at the TCF Center in downtown Detroit. So anyway, they have rescheduled, and he's going to get to present to the Michigan House. So that's an update there. Let's see. Also, Pennsylvania emergency injunction sought from SCOTUS to halt any further certification actions. This is in Pennsylvania. Let's get to that article here. Pennsylvania emergency injunction sought from SCOTUS to halt any further certification actions. They are seeking an immediate emergency writ of injunction to prevent Pennsylvania officials from taking any further action to perfect the certification of the results of the November 3rd, 2020 election. On Saturday night, November 28th, we noted that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court dismissed a challenge to mail-in ballot procedures, vacating a halt to certification. The basis for the ruling was that the petitioners had waited too long and should have challenged mail-in ballot procedures prior to the election. Now, what's funny about that ruling is they did exactly that. They did challenge the mail-in ballot procedures prior to the election, and the court told them that they had no standing because they don't have anything that they are arguing against, as it hasn't happened yet. And then after the fact, when they went back after the election, then they're saying, well, no, you don't have any standing because you should have challenged mail-in ballot procedures prior to the election. So a little bit of a catch-22 there. Upon consideration of the parties' filings in the Commonwealth Court, we hereby dismiss the petition for review with prejudice based on petitioners' failure to file their facial constitutional challenge in a timely manner. What? You can't do it until the action happens. Anyway, petitioner's challenge violates the doctrine of laches, I don't know, given their complete failure to act with due diligence in commencing their facial constitutional challenge, which was ascertainable upon Act 77's enactment. It is well established that laches or whatever is an equitable doctrine that bars relief when a complaining party is guilty of want of due diligence in failing to promptly institute an action. It's just some legal mumbo jumbo. Anyway, so this is not the one of, let's see, this is not the same case as previously was before the SCOTUS on the issue of mail-in ballots received after Election Day. This case involves a claim that the mail-in ballot procedure, so-called no excuse absentee voting, passed by the legislature, violated the Pennsylvania Constitution. In reviewing the posture of the case, which turned on state law issues, I expressed doubt that the U.S. Supreme Court would take the case. Let me see here. The question on everyone's mind is whether the U.S. Supreme Court would take the case. My first reaction is, this is the writer here, is that it's hard to see on what basis SCOTUS would take the case given the nature of the ruling and the posture of the case. Unlike claims of fraud or other problems with the voting that violate state legislative enactments, here the mail-in provision of the legislation itself is being challenged, but it is only challenged after the vote has taken place. Unlike late ballot and other provisions that were challenged in advance, and unlike claims of fraud or misconduct. Well, it seems to me, though, you can't, how do you challenge something that hasn't happened? Anyway, hello, MC. Oops. Stop. Hammer time. Wow, that is really loud. Anyway. Also, good morning, James PFP. And, all right. You know what? I'm not going to read this one either. I will put it in the, I'll put it on the list today. By the way, if you weren't here yesterday, from now on, anything that we go over in the stream will be put in the in the comment section down below. I'll put a link to all the articles, and then also I will add it to the Discord server too. So if you ever want to go back and read some of these articles that we went through, they will be in those places. All right. Let's see. Like I said, I wasn't quite as prepared today. Let's see. So let's kind of take a slightly different turn here. This one I just found interesting, and so I'm gonna go through it. So there's a congressman on the left who says Americans just want to be left alone. Politicians aren't smart enough to make decisions for them, and which is so true. So this is our representative-elect Byron Donalds from the state of Florida, who says Americans want the chance to succeed, but they don't want politicians telling them how they're allowed to do it. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Freedom Force. Did that work? I don't know. It didn't sound like it did. Freedom Force. Anyway, Congressman-elect Byron Donalds says, Byron, a member of a group of House Republicans calling themselves the Freedom Force, says the troop seeks to counter the far-left squad led by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Okay, this guy's funny. Cortez, by restoring American freedom from governmental overreach. The comment alone has my support for this guy. Yeah, let me just let him say it himself. This is a 2-minute video.
What are your plans when you get here to the nation's capital?
The plans are simple. It's never really changed. It's about supporting the Constitution. It's about making sure that we actually have bills, policies, laws that make sense for all of Americans. It's about making sure that our businesses have freedom to operate, that our families have the freedom to choose what they're going to do in their lives, and that people in this capital aren't smart enough to make those decisions for them.
Well, tell us about the Freedom Force that you and other newly elected members of Congress have formed and your plans to take on the progressive squad.
Well, listen, it's a great plan because what we've seen is that the left has people who are out there every single day.
Whoa, hold on, hold the presses. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see what I just saw? I got to back this up. There's are these? Hold up. Did you see that? Who saw that? Take a look. Carlos Jimenez. Maria Elvira Salazar. Burgess Owens. Michelle Steele, Stephanie Bice, Nicole Maliotakis, Byron Donalds, Victoria Spartz, Young Kim. Wow. That's all. Here, let's see what else he says here.
Is that the left has
you got
people
it, James,
who are out there
PFP.
every single day pushing
Oh,
this
they're white
narrative,
Hispanics. Oh, and did you hear? So those, yes, white Hispanics. And do you know that Asians now are white people too? I don't know if you heard that, but now Asians, they just for practical purposes and for demagoguery, Asians are now white people, so they don't really count when you say people of colors. Anyway, looks like a Benetton advertisement. Yeah, it kind of does. Anyway, The Freedom Squad, though, hey, that's like a multiracial, holy, that's like, damn. Anyway, all right. I wonder if they're going to let Donald and Burgess Owens into the Congressional Black Caucus. They kind of didn't do that with who was it that was he was the congressman from Oklahoma, J.C. Watts. Remember, they wouldn't let him in the Congressional Black Caucus. Anyway.
America is some worse off country, that we need a heavy hand from government, that you have to have these ultra progressive left wing policies. But if you really look at these elections in 2020, what's clear is that Americans just want to be left alone.
Right.
They want smart policies. They want to follow the Constitution. They want individual liberty. They want freedom. And so whether it's myself, Burgess, Virginia, Nicole, Stephanie, whoever, we're here to say we're a fight, we're a stand against that. We're going to support the Constitution. We're going to support free markets. We're going to support individual liberty, and we're going to take that message to all voters across America.
All right.
So, Byron, let me ask you, because you saw so many Republicans flip seats. We just had another one in Iowa happen by just 6 votes. Do you believe that this is a rejection of the policies of the progressive left?
Well, duh.
Absolutely, without question. Listen, I'm a political convert. I got into politics 12 years ago because I saw the bailouts that were coming back in 2008, and I wanted no part of them. And I think what you're seeing is Americans, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, whether they're in red states or blue states, they're rejecting those policies. The Green New Deal is a disaster. Parents want school choice and parental empowerment for their children. Americans just want to have opportunities to succeed. They don't want people in Washington telling them how they're going to go about doing that. They want to have the freedom to choose for themselves, and I'm here to fight for that, and that's what the Freedom Force is here to do.
Outstanding, and the crowd goes wild. Yeah, okay, all right, man, all right. I like this guy already. Fantastic. All right. Let's see. I got about 20 minutes left. Let's see. Let's pivot slightly. We were talking a little bit about COVID yesterday. We spent a lot of time on COVID, and apparently this is very annoying. This is very annoying, and excuse me. Oh, by the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee with me, and that's why my stomach is growling. But everyone join me in a quick sip here, even though my coffee's getting cold now. This is a development that I'm not happy about, because the vaccines are coming, right? Oh, by the way, in fact, the vaccines are being shipped as we speak. I mean, they're already being distributed. Now, they're still having a debate in the Center for Disease Control on who they're going to who they want to make the vaccinations available to first. You would think that perhaps they would go for more vulnerable people, but I don't know. Their whole thing. But here's something that's a little bit disturbing, because I know there are people who, kind of want to have that choice of whether or not they want to take the vaccine. Now, I personally, I'll do it. I don't care. It's, it's kind of what because I'm around vulnerable people. So more often than most, and my mother-in-law has COPD, so we will take the vaccines. And my wife's a nurse, and she's kind of required to for her job, whatever. So we will take the vaccines. But I know there's people who are just skeptical about it, but I don't like the idea that the government would coerce you to take a vaccine. That is what I regardless, I think people maybe should have choice on this, because there are people who just want to have that choice, right? Well, apparently governments are planning on letting big business do their dirty work to enforce the COVID vaccine. Last month, we reported that about Ticketmaster's plan to enforce coronavirus vaccinations. As one of the largest box office operations in the United States, they are going to require a vaccine record to get into large venues. In the UK, Conservative MP Nadeem Zahawi said that the government will not force Britons to get the coronavirus vaccine. However, they may not be allowed to go to a cinema or get on an airplane. This is how he admitted that in the future, if a person is going to a stadium, they may need an immunity passport. And if they're looking into similar systems, they are looking into a similar system like the contact tracing app. Quote, we are looking at technology and, of course, a way of people informing their general practitioner that they've been vaccinated. But also, I think you'll probably find that restaurants, bars, and cinemas and other venues, sports venues, will probably also use that system as they've done with the apps. Great! But the UK is expected to hand out vaccine stamps for those that have received the treatment. So far in the United States, Ticketmaster is the only company that has come out and said you'll need proof of a vaccine, or you're going to have to jump through testing hoops to be allowed into a venue. President Trump has never given any indication that he would ever force anyone to get the vaccine. And so far, Joe Biden has remained silent. Well, he's probably taking another pause because he sprained his foot. Anyway, however, liberal surrogates are already out there saying Americans are not going to have much of a choice. And here's who's this guy? Dr. Peter Hotez was on CNN. Listen to this.
Dr. Hotez, folks have a lot of questions about the vaccines in general, since they will all be part of our lives very soon. At the top of the list is, which one do you take? If there are 2, maybe 3 vaccines, how do you know which one you should take?
Well, the answer for the next few months is you're not going to have much of a choice. You pretty much have to take what's offered to you. And that's okay, because all of these vaccines, again, work by the same mechanism. They all induce those virus-neutralizing antibodies. That's what's going to keep you out of the hospital in the intensive care unit. And remember, one of the issues with the emergency use authorization, and rather than a full approval process, in the full approval process, you wait at least a year to see how durable the protection is, how long it lasts, and if there's any other long-term safety issues. We won't have that, right, because emergency use authorization is trying to save lives now, because if we wait a full year, you do the math, if you're getting 2,000 to 3,000 deaths per day, the death toll would just be too staggering. So we don't know how durable the protection is going to be. And, for the Pfizer Moderna vaccine, is the protection going to last 3 months, 3 years, 30 years? We won't know, but it's okay. Get the vaccine, get those virus neutralizing antibodies in your system. And if it later turns out you need a boost later on, that's okay, or a boost with the same vaccine or a different vaccine. All this is going to have to be worked out in the course of 2021 and into 2022. So get what you can now.
Okay, Doctor. The fact that it's not going to be a choice. Earlier in the week, Fauci said that the COVID-19 pandemic won't end until the overwhelming majority of people get vaccinated. The country is split down the middle, not a political split. If they will get the COVID vaccine, most Americans weary over the possible side effects of the new vaccine. It also appears that the longer the virus is around, the less likely people will want it. In May of 2020, 72% of adults said they would get the vaccine if it was available. Just a few months later, in September, only 51% of adults said they would be interested in the vaccine. It was almost an even 20-point drop in adults, regardless of political affiliation, between May and September. So, but yeah, if some of these companies, it's kind of like, it's kind of how they enforce speech on social media. It's not the government forcing you to, moderate what you say, or you can't say this, you can't say that, or we ban you and take away your, all of your social media privileges and maybe even your ability to do business in life, because they'll take away your credit card processing, whatnot. The big companies do it. The big companies can do it. Now, on that note, let me see if I can find an article on this, because President Trump made a rumbling yesterday that kind of annoyed me, and I don't necessarily agree with it. Let's see if it's let's see here. More on, there's a, we'll skip that one. So the president yesterday, where is this? It's not here. Well, I'll just go to the tweet that I was responding to yesterday. Here's the AP article. So, President Trump yesterday said he threatened to veto a defense bill over social media protections. Stop that. Donald Trump is threatening to veto a defense policy bill unless it ends protections for internet companies that shield them from being held liable for materials posted by their users. On Twitter Tuesday night, Trump took aim at Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act, which protects companies that can host trillions of messages from being sued into oblivion by anyone who feels wronged by something someone else has posted, whether their complaint is legitimate or not. Now that's an interesting way they phrase that, but it kind of works that way. Trump called Section 230 a serious threat to our national security and election integrity, adding, therefore, if the very dangerous and unfair Section 230 is not completely terminated as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, I will be forced to unequivocally veto the bill. So now there's much more to this article, and I will have it in the tabs in the list of articles. So I responded to this. Here, let me see here. So I responded to this article on Twitter because I think this is a bad idea. Okay, I think the president is wrong here. And I said so by saying that the law needs to be strengthened and enforced, not repealed. Social media companies have been hiding behind this protection in order to censor whoever they want. When they act as publishers or curators, it should open them to liability. The law hasn't worked this way. Now, what's weird is, of course, you're going to get, because I used the word censor, a couple of people took issue with me using that, and here's and apparently a lot of people have been replying to it. This one said repealing 230 would bring out a lot more censorship since companies like Twitter will be liable for what their users say. Trump just wants to control of what is and isn't censored. I tend to agree that if you repeal 230, you put all these companies in jeopardy of being sued now because they don't have protection. Now, and here's the thing. The giant tech oligarchs, okay, they'll be able to fight lawsuits left and right. They print their own money almost, okay? But who it will hurt, it'll hurt alt tech. Because alt tech, a lot of them are smaller startups. They don't necessarily have the funding to fight lawsuits. I think that Section 230 is important. Where I have a problem with how it is applied right now. See, someone here says, someone here said, without Section 230, websites would still have to moderate their platforms. In fact, the risk of liability from things their users post, which is what 230 Shields gets, would ensure even heavier moderation. I agree. But then he says, and the First Amendment doesn't apply to private entities, only the government. You know what? I'm not making a First Amendment argument. Okay, I'm making a Section 230 argument because, right, the First Amendment doesn't. Private companies. If they're private companies, they're not the government, so it's not the First Amendment. Right, but what the private companies are doing is they're curating or censoring their users, not from a government censorship. Censoring is not necessarily government. Yes, the First Amendment protects you from government censorship. Doesn't mean that they're not the only people who censor. Why do you think there's a phrase called self-censoring? Okay, censoring is a verb. Now it is also a noun. There's the person who is a censor, but censor is a verb. And the tech companies are absolutely censoring people or curating or curating their platforms, thus acting like a publisher. When I say that the tech companies are hiding behind 230 when they're censoring their users, what I'm saying is they're using 230 to protect themselves from liability, while at the same time acting like a publisher. No one's using 230 the way it was intended. Now, if you take away 230, yes, there will be more lawsuits but here I keep using the example of Nick Salmon, and I'm going to write, I thought of a stupid video that I could make about this. So if the platforms were, if Section 230 was enforced the way it was intended, platforms would not have to moderate what their users do. It'd be like using the telephone. If I have a Verizon telephone and I go on my Verizon telephone and do a conference call on my Verizon telephone, and I say things that perhaps the company Verizon doesn't like, Verizon can't just take away my right to use my Verizon telephone, okay? Because it's my Verizon telephone is a platform or a way for me to communicate with other people. Well, so are social media outlets. They're a way to communicate. And I'd rather them be treated as something that is a communication device rather than a privately owned entity that can be moderated. Now, what Section 230 does, if someone goes on to, say, Twitter, for example, and they saw something about Nick Salmon and Chief Lying Fire Pants, way back when, and they saw some disparaging and defamatory things about Nick Salmon on Twitter, for example. What Section 230 does, it removes the liability of Twitter from removing those lies. And there are, let's put it this way. If someone lies about Nick Salmon, which they did, they told verifiable lies about Nick Salmon. Section 230 protects Twitter from the lies that person posts on their platform. Now, here's the issue that I am trying to convey. Twitter, as you've found out during this election season, Twitter has been doing a whole lot of curating of its platform based on what they consider to be either misrepresentations or lies or whatever they're doing. They're taking down what they consider to be falsehoods, lies, whatever, however you want to put it, right? But if you go on to Twitter right now and you search for Nick Salmon's name, there are still thousands of people who still believe some of the material falsehoods about Nick Salmon and have them posted on their Twitter feeds. Now, under Section 230, if Twitter wasn't already curating or censoring or deleting or things about other types of falsehoods, then Section 230 would protect Twitter because it's not responsible for what people publish. But they have decided to act as a publisher and alter what is published on their platform. But they still have lies about Nick Salmon up there, right? So they're acting as a publisher now. There's still lies about Nick Salmon. So shouldn't Section 230 that protects them from liability be void because they're acting as a publisher. If they're going to curate what they say are lies here, how is it that they can leave up lies about Nick Salmon? I think Nick Salmon should be able to sue Twitter for whatever other people wrote because they have acted as a publisher by editorializing their platform. Okay. Now, if they let the platform stay the wild, wild west like it was for a long time, and there are lies about Nick Salmon, but there are maybe some things that other people told their lies, whatever, they just left them or they didn't curate them, well, then they would not be liable for any of the falsehoods or anything on their platform. Now, except for things that are illegal. Now, there are certain things that are illegal that they certainly should be able to curate or be able to remove or moderate on their platform. So anyway, I hope that made sense. I tried to make it make sense, and I'm going to have to write it down because I'm going to reply to all these people who replied to me. Nope, social media companies shouldn't be liable. Individual publishers should be liable. Trouble is, there's a great difficulty tracking down who's posting what. Whatever. And someone says it's the opposite of what happened. The one argument that's just pissing me off is people write, Twitter is a private company. They can moderate whatever they want. Sure they can. Absolutely. They can moderate to their heart's content. They can editorialize. They can delete people. They can delete people's platforms. They can put warnings, whatever. But when they do that, they're acting as a publisher. And so then they are liable for other things on their platform. If they don't do that, then they're a platform or a communications tool, and they are not liable for what people put on their platform. They got to make a choice. Anyway, thank you so much, Cindy Rochelle, for the, let's see here. I didn't realize I hadn't even put this up. Thank you, Cindy Rochelle. Oh, I didn't. Oh my gosh. I completely missed a super chat earlier. What, y'all? I feel so bad. Did I do the, hang on a second here. Oh, my computer is going slow now. Give me a second here. I'll better finish up with these super chats. Thank you so much, Stab and Joe Scarborough and Cindy Rochelle. Let's see here. Hang on. Let me, like I said, I'm a little discombobulated today. Hopefully we'll remedy that tomorrow. Let's see here. Earlier, Stab and Joe Scarborough. Oh, a sponsor of the show. A $5 super chat says, Knives for America provides all my cutlery needs, even provides sharpening. Oh, well, that's a great company then. If you need some knives, Stab and Joe Scarborough, who is the aficionado of knives, recommends Knives for America. So congratulations, Knives for America, new sponsor of the Morning Night Live and the Dawg Knight Channel. And also thank you, Cindy Rochelle, for a $5 super chat through YouTube super chat. Solution: change discrimination laws to be race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, and political ideology. I am absolutely for that. Ooh, there would be people who fight that idea, though. But I agree. I think you should, you should not be discriminated because of your political ideology. Anyway, so completely agreed. Let's see here. Let's see. Ideological fluidity. California has laws like that. Doesn't mean it's ignored in one direction at the judge's whim. Yeah, probably. Twitter's terms of service should be, we are not responsible for what is posted, and that should be it. Yeah, they're acting like a publisher, so they don't deserve Section 230 privileges. That's where I'm saying, but I don't, let me just finish the thought here. I don't think that striking down Section 230 is the answer. I think it's very misguided by the president. If you get rid of Section 230, there's going to be more censorship, more curating, more restricting people, more moderating of the platforms, and smaller platforms will not be able to sustain or fight against lawsuits. So, if you're on Parler and someone can go, well, we're going to sue Parler for whatever they're going to sue Parler for because someone posted something on Parler that I don't like, that hurt my feelings. Okay. I feel like that those alt tech platforms who don't have the money and power that the techno oligarchs have, they will be going by the wayside because they're going to be fighting against lawsuits. I just absolutely disagree with the president on this particular topic. And on that note, I got to call it a day because, I have to be somewhere at 11. So thanks everybody for being here today on the Morning Night Live. I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And if you'd be so kind, before you go anywhere, before you click anything, click the thumbs up button down here, the little thumbs up symbol, click that. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, click the bell to get notifications, or follow me on Twitter. Mine's Gabber Parler. I'm very active on Twitter. I'm getting more active on Parler. The other two are just notification engines for people who got kicked off of Twitter and Parler. So there you go. And finally, if you really like the show, you can always do donations through the Streamlabs links and all those down there in the diggery-doo. What do they call that down there? Somebody calls it is it dilly-doo or diggery-doo? I don't know what the hell it's called. That section down there, there's all kinds of information with the merch links and so on and so forth. Or you can just go to PDawgKnight.live and figure that out. But that's it for today, people. Sorry of my total discombobulation. Good morning, Faithless, who I haven't said hi to, or Green Badger Outdoors. There are some people who came in. Chrome, You're Ridiculous Lunatic, BG, a whole bunch of people dropped in while I was being discombobulated. So Lord Stanhope, Jason Arnold, hi everybody who I didn't say hi to already, but now I'm going to say bye to everybody because that's what time it is. So thanks everybody for being here. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.